Praise the Lord. Praise the living Jesus. We welcome you all to this special podcast. And with me, I have some special set of people here that we are going to be taking this discussion together. As we all know, I remain Pastor John Sanusi, pastor in charge, Cramute Church, Champions Arena. And by my right-hand side there, I have our dear sister, Sister Iyano Debumi. And by my right hand, I have two of our wonderful brothers, Bro Samson Adeniji, and also Brother Babatunde Ubulabi. You are welcome all in Jesus' name. So this morning, we want to be discussing about a very important topic, and that is the subject of parenting. Parenting, as we know, is very important in the development and transformation of every child. We all are a product of one parent or the other, but what makes it challenging is the time that we find ourselves in. This is a unique time. If we agree with me, we will discover that parenting in time past is quite different from what it is now. The peculiarity of the kind of people that we are dealing with now is different from what we used to have. So in this discussion, we want to help most especially our parents to understand what they are up against. And just like we used to say that charity begins from home. So the home has a lot to do in the development of their child, their children. And as we can see, the things that are happening now, the moral decadence amongst the youth, amongst the teenagers, we just discover that a whole lot of these things could have been curbed. A whole lot of these things could be averted only if we get it right at home. So in this discussion, I want to help our viewers, our parents, mommies and daddies, brothers and sisters. We want to help us to understand this generation. As we know, we are popularly called the Gen Z generation. So what exactly is the Gen Z generation? What do we mean by the Gen Z generation? So I will not be discussing alone. I have three wonderful people here, just as I've introduced them. And I pray that as we listen this morning, we're blessed in Jesus' name. So I welcome you all once again. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you, sir.
So glad to have us all. So as you know, we want to learn this morning because we hear about the Gen Z, the Gen Z, the Gen Z, the Gen Z. And there's this preconceived mindset that when people talk about Gen Z, the first thing that comes to people's mind or what appeals to anyone's mind is we are talking about, a wayward generation, people who cannot be reached, people who have gone above discipline and all. So I'd like you to tell us, what exactly is the Gen Z? Who are the Gen Zs? So I don't know who will be helping us first to bring an understanding to that. Okay, maybe I should start with Brother Babatunde Ubulawi. So who are the Gen Zs? Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z.
All right. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I like to associate myself with the Gen Zs.
Okay.
So the Gen Zs, I'm going by their definition. They are set of young people who were born within the year 1997 to
Okay.
2012. That's 2012. And then one of the things associated with Gen Z is that their world are quite different from the millennials and then the boomers. So how do I mean? Gen Zs are much more technologically inclined.
Okay.
They are much more exposed to social media. They are, much more. They have that exposure that we, the millennials, do not have, and then their social ability, their social life is, quite a lot, much more than we, the millennials, and we can. These things are what categorize them as, as Gen Z. So just to simply put, Gen Zs are young people within the year 1997 to 2012, and their lives are, in contrast, completely different from what the millennials are used to, and they are much more exposed to technology.
Oh, okay. So we've made mention of the fact that this set of people, okay, just like you have rightly said, some of us would love to associate with the Gen Z. So, what actually makes them different from the millennials? And we are talking about the millennials, we are talking about the boomers, we are talking about the generation of our parents. What makes them different? Why is it that we categorize them separately from this early generation?
Okay, so the reason is that Gen Zs are digital natives, right? So Gen Zs, they grow up in the era of smartphones, social media, digital innovations. Gen Zs are technologically savvy people, right? So, we are looking at people that can learn anything and everything from the internet, right? We are in the advent of, technology, and then it has given them a whole lot more exposure, right? And they can learn anything and everything. And that's to say that they are also independent learners, right? So these are people that can stay in the comfort of their room or their own, and then choose to learn about anything from the comfort of their bed or wherever it is that they choose to learn from. And Gen Zs are known to be critical thinkers, right? So these people ask a lot of questions. They are not just backbenchers. They are not we millennials, the boomers, where, even when we want to ask questions, we are usually laid back. We just follow. These people they want to know the answer to every question. They want to know why this is this, why that is that. They need answers. A generation that are asking questions. So these are the things that I feel like makes them different. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. There are still so many things to talk about in the things you just said. But now, like we have understood that these people are smartphone inclined, they have exposure. I remember when we were growing up, there were certain things we did not have access to, we did not have privileges to. Take, for instance, you could not own a smartphone of your own. And I remember the very first phone uh, that got to our home then was a land phone, this landline. We called it landline then, and wow, it was like heaven on earth. But compared to now, people have smartphones, they have access to the internet. I remember if you were to go online or if you wanted to use the internet, you would need to look for a cyber cafe. You would buy time, and to even get the money to buy that time was a whole lot. But unlike this generation, there is free access to internet. They know what is happening in another country. They know what Donald Trump is talking about. Then you just see our parents discuss these things. We don't even know what it is. We don't even know who is who. They know what is happening in France. They know the latest soap opera in Korea and all of that. And you can see that, it has really shaping their mindset. So I would just like to say, I would like to ask, maybe I'll throw that question to our dear sister. Now, how has these things made parenting difficult? This exposure and all, compare, Brotunde made mention of the fact that the millennials never had opportunity to ask questions. If you just, even if you wanted to say anything, you just say, keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet. But this generation don't want to keep quiet. So how has that affected parenting this time?
Okay, so I would say that it has affected parenting in the way that in their own days, when their parents tells them that don't do this, they would not do that thing, or they will not question why. But this generation would question, why should I not do it? So it's the question of, oh, this thing is bad. They will ask you, why is this bad? So it's making parenting difficult because in their own time, they are more obedient. But this was more exposed. When you say this thing is bad, and it come on the internet, and somebody is saying it is good, I saw this trending news that Olodo uprising, whereby somebody is saying something, and because this person has followers, this person, anything the person says, everybody's like yes. And I actually noticed that most of the people that supported these people are the new generation. There are people that don't even have knowledge about these things, but because it is beneficial to them, they would support it. And now, so we that the children or the parents that have children that are not really exposed, when they come online and they see that, oh, people are supporting this person, they will just believe it. And when their parent now tells them that, oh, this thing is not good. For instance, I remember when I was in secondary school, they used to tell us that when you start menstruating, no, you should not touch a boy. So when you touch a boy, you are pregnant already. So that's when everybody will just believe it. Ah, stay away from boys. Or I even remember when in primary school, they told us this poem whereby you stay away from boys. Boys have to play a part. But this one, you cannot tell this generation that when I touch a boy, I'll get pregnant. They will tell you I've touched many boys and I'm not pregnant. You understand? So so parenting is hard because these people are seeing it that okay, this logic you are giving me is not working. So I think the parents have to understand that this is not a time where you'll be corny or you would secretly tell them things you want to tell them. You have to tell them directly, this thing is not good because of this and that. Not because this thing is not good. They should just accept that it's not good. You have to give them reasons why they should not do that thing. Because they have to understand that they are not the only ones teaching their children now. Unlike the past, even by you can keep your children. There is the time you say, get inside. This one, even if you are inside, you are exposed to everything. So I just open my phone. I even noticed that even cartoons these days, they are showing pornography in cartoons. They are showing gay and lesbianism in cartoons these days. So parenting is different from, so you just say, sit down there and watch TV. You might even be exposing them to something that is wrong. So if they want to make them to obey them, to listen to them, they have to give them reasons. Do this because of this. So it's not the generation of authority. I command you to do this, so you must do this. So you have to sit down and reason with them. Oh, don't do this. Give them experiences. Oh, when I did this my own time, it affected me like this. I had a friend that did this. Allow them to ask questions. Allow them. Don't be a rigid parent that, oh, I'm the one that gave birth to you. That's always the thing. I'm the one that gave birth to you, so you have to listen to me. But there are seeing many children on the internet that are rebelling against their parents and are excelling in life. So they can say, this person dropped out from school. This person has left his parents and he became excellent in life. That means I can do that. So if they don't want that kind of life for their children, they have to come down to their level and communicate with them.
Oh, thank you so much. So we are seeing the importance of having meaningful conversations. And I think, is one thing that I discovered that is missing in many homes, many families, because I discovered that daddy is working, mommy is working probably in the shop, they go out, they come back, and they leave the child, or they leave their teenager, they leave their youth to themselves, and questions that they want to ask, these parents are not there to answer them. And then the internet, social media is answering a whole lot of questions. And you discover that many things we have on the net is just, a compilation of different people's thoughts, opinion, mindset, somebody's fears, somebody's errors, somebody's mistakes, somebody's belief system, and it is shaping a generation. Before we move further, she made mention of something that, I feel we need to talk about: Olodo uprising. If we compare, okay, for those of us that don't understand the concept behind the Olodo uprising, it's simply saying that you don't need to be educated, to make it big in life, to make it big. Education is not really a factor. Knowledge, I think I watched a skit where it was a cartoon skit. So a genie came out of a lamp. So he now asked the person that, oh, you have 3 wishes. He said the number one, if I grant it, you'll be extremely knowledgeable. You will know all the, everything in this world. He said, but you'll be poor. He said, but the second one, he said, you will become an olodo, but you would have all the riches of this. In fact, before the genie finished speaking, the guy was already saying number two, number two, number two, number two, number two. And then it was more like all the books we are learning and everything, how has it helped us? So I want us to say something about that. I'm going to be throwing that open to everyone. The Olodo uprising, of course, is a concept that the Gen Zs are pushing now. So compared to the millennials where knowledge was held at high esteem, people go to school because they actually want to learn. People, value knowledge. People value reading. Those days you see our fathers will sit down with newspapers, they will read, they're always, current and all. Now, Olodo uprising, let's start with Bro Samson. Is it a concept that we should push, or it's something that will be detrimental even to this generation and the generation coming next?
Thank you. For me, about that discussion or what is going on the internet about the Olodo uprising. What I see there is that our society have really support all this stuff of is not by force you go to school, it's not by force you are educated before you became rich. And in a lot of even our leaders, in our all those we see as the leaders, most of them, they are not that educated. And I think I saw a post too when I saw Portable 2 in a podcast view talking about something like I think as he is now, he can go to US, he can go to it's not by force. I'm just like, it's not your fault, because if our embassy could do a real research, could do maybe there should be a real test before you can achieve that visa to be there. Not that because you are famous, because you have fame, they grant you the access to go there. Because if we use we Gen Z of nowadays, if you are seeing them as a role model, we too we will condemn education. No how. We will condemn it, because you will feel like after all my years in school, I'm not like this, I'm not what I supposed to be. And you are seeing someone from low background, from nowhere, being top, you will be like, what is the effort of me doing all these things? So I think that our society have really support more on all these illiterate, all these people that we see them like maybe there is a road to get rich apart from doing the necessary thing.
Necessary things.
There are some parts you can go through. That's why some of them push themselves in some ways which is not in alignment to what they're supposed to do. Doing hookups, doing Yahoo, because they too, they want to get rich. They want to be famous as they see those on the at the top. So what I think there is that if although our parents, what I say, if they can give their children the real path, if they can guide them, let them know the real reason of them doing the thing they said they should do. Because I could remember then too. I registered for a course then. I think digital marketing. Because what made me do that is that I saw most of my peer pressure, my friends doing things. Some are doing Yahoo, but they are covering it up with tech. Some are covering it up with crypto. Some are covering it up with digital marketing. In my whole mind, I thought that is how easy it is. To the extent that I felt like, what is the reason of going to school? Because that is what they are saying. They are giving me the real reason of me not going to school. Like me, after I graduated from secondary school, see what I've achieved, see what I've, that thing ginger me too. To the extent that I think school is a scam. I think school is a scam. But who will if I should get home to tell my parents like, this thing, I think if I should follow their path, I think I don't have parents to tell, because anything you say they concur. It is good. They will not do their proper research to know if what you brought to them is better for me to do. So I think our parents too should be more closer to their children. Give them the real reason. Give them the consequence of what they are seeing others doing. Let them bring some scenarios. I could remember my parents then, they brought some ideas. Most of their friends that use shortcuts, but what is the result? It made me to come back. I think this road, this path, my friend, is making me to feel like it's the better. Is not. For me, it made me withdraw back. So I think our parents who should give their children the real reason and let them know the consequence after the path for now. So
All right, so that means communication is key for our parents. They need to get closer to their children. Just like we said, this generation is very inquisitive. They are seeing things. They're exposed to knowledge. Yeah, they have their friends having discussions. Yeah, they are seeing a whole lot. So even as he was talking, it just appears to me that for our parents to help this generation, our parents themselves, they have to be knowledgeable. They have to know what is happening. No, most parents don't know. So many parents will just get their phone. I don't use Facebook. What are they doing there? No, you have to know what they are doing there. It's when you know what they are doing there, you know what question to answer. So like I don't use WhatsApp. Of course, we have to balance. We are an atmosphere of the faith. Our parents are more, conservative. They are trying to preserve themselves, the faith and all. But then what about these people that are the heat of the battle, the heat of the knowledge, jab and the knowledge warfare? So our parents, they themselves, not with the mind of, I want to be polluted with the things of this world, but I want to know how I can help these people. So I want to say, Brotunde, during the time of the millennials, there's a song that used to ring there. Batamiadun koko ka timba kawe mi batamiadun. Now, we are in a generation where people are saying that even if you don't kawe your bata, we still do the koko ka. And now our parents are trying. The default mindset of every parent is that let me work, let me labor so that I can send my son, my daughter to school so that they can become someone in life. But then they are doing all of that. Now a generation has risen that is saying, listen, I don't need to go to the four walls of the university before I can make it in life. In fact, it was making mention of the fact that young people go into Yahoo, fraudulent cyber crime, let's call it that, cyber crime and all of that to get money, even right from as early as primary school. Why? But now, how do we help these parents? And of course, help this generation? Because it's a whole lot. Some parents are frustrated. On the other hand, law school. Look at our JAMB results now. The rate at which we have mass failure in JAMB, and these generations they are not bothered, but parents are bothered. They are like, at the end of the day, let me do well for mama. Let me get shop for mama. Let me get car for daddy. At the end of the day, it's about let me just get something for them. But then they are not valuing the need for knowledge. So how do we help our parents to communicate the importance of knowledge. And at the same time, we do not also lose this generation who are ambitious, who wants to make it big. How do we reconcile that gap? You understand? Help them see the need for knowledge. And because truth be told, it is not, I'm trying to be careful with my words. School is very important, as we know. But then at the same time, it is not everyone who goes to school that makes it through school. You understand? Because in as much as we are trying to drive the need for knowledge, we should know that sometimes school can just be a pathway. But it's not, he was making mention of something. We've seen the likes of Steve Jobs, people who didn't complete, educate, though they had a basic foundation, but yet who ended up becoming great. But then, how do we reconcile this and help our parents and help this our generation?
All right, thank you very much, sir. So, to start with, one of the things the Bible says is that in the last days there will be so many. Knowledge will be so vast, So, and then we're in that era now. I must mention that the world is dynamic, right? The dynamism of the world during the millennials, the boomers, during our parents' time, was solely based on knowledge that was gained through formal education. Now it has shifted, right, to knowledge that is gained through both formal and informal education. Now, to keep up with this era, our parents must be informed, right? Because if you say that you want your child to make it through, yes, we understood that their generation wants you, even as I remember my dad would always tell me, at your age, if things were still the way it used to be then, Nigeria, even if you have technical, you are working, you are fine at 24, you should be married, but it doesn't blame anybody. It just says, well, it is what it is. We understand the situation of the economy now, so I don't even blame anybody. You would even also always advise to say, take your time. Make sure that you are okay financially. Make sure that this is sorted, that is sorted, because you understand that there's a shift from that generation to our generation here. Now, that being said, parents need to be informed, because we're in the era of gate watching, not gatekeeping. So a lot of people are receiving information at once. Nobody is receiving the information once and keeping it to say, okay, let us filter this, let us sieve this, let us share this alone. Everybody now is receiving what? Information. And this has led to so many things that people can do now to what? To make money. So in terms of parents just focusing on knowledge through formal education alone, I'd advise that parents should learn to be informed, such that in as much as you want to invest in formal education too, also understand that your child pay attention to some certain skills that they have, right? Invest in it too, right? So that once they have that formal education, once you pay attention to other skills that they have, you invest in it, and you are able to build and model a modest generation, a generational blessing from your family. I'm going to cite an example. Our generations now are looking at that are giving birth now are saying, my child is not going to school. Even people that are giving birth now are saying, my child will not go to school. Once I see that my child has a talent to play football, they send the child to the football academy. They don't even go to school anymore. Because what led to that? People started seeing how much Neymar was making or how much Neymar made. Look at Mbappe. So people are saying, you can't make this money through school. Rather, you would even serve these guys that are playing football. But you can look at it, track back. When you go to play ball, then our parents will say, don't go to play football. But now, they are not seeing the light. They are seeing money that these guys are making. And this is a call for them to be informed. This is a call for them to be updated, to understand that formal education is good, but there's also the aspect of looking at what your child, the skill that your child has from the childhood, and investing in the child, helping that child do out of it, helping that child become a generational blessing out of it. And as it comes to the youth, or as for the youth of the Gen Z, our society is a society of, or a society that we have now is a society that celebrates mediocrity. Now, success in our society now is solely based or mostly based on how much money you make. There's high level of poverty, there's high level of unemployment, right? And people are seeing these guys that are going online, dancing, they're gaining followers. Look at the top brands, top institutions that we have in Nigeria today. These people that people are saying, oh, this person is an Olodo uprising. Now, I'm not making a case for them, but I'm just trying to explain how rotten the system is. To say these people that people are saying, oh, this is an Olodo uprising, he doesn't understand English. Top brand are calling them because of the number of followers that they have.
That they're having.
Imagine Pella saying that he rejected Eddie's award. No, he didn't reject, sorry. It was on TikTok. Then somehow his account got shadow banned. But that week before his account got shadow banned, Eddie's was offering him 30 million just to stream Eddie's award. Just to stream. He can't spend 20,000 naira on that data. On streaming. But they are offering him 30 million just to stream. Why? Because they see the number of followers. To them, it's also a promotional, tool. Wow. And this is the era that we live in. So now, if you see people jumping on content creation, trying to do so hard to have that number, these are the examples. Because the society now is celebrating these things. The society are backing these people up. Look at Kataife. You will go to meet the access that all of these people have. Recently, there was something that came out. They were talking about Olodo uprising and how they didn't go to school. He brought out his honorary BSc to say that he finished from Babcock. Babcock had to release a statement that he didn't finish from Babcock. It was just an honorary degree. I mean, he couldn't even tell honorary from the actual, degree. And the access Kataife has, yes, he's a mediocre. He's doing nonsense. I mean, a whole lot of things that could be considered as being a mediocre online. But then the access he has, somebody that is well educated, do not have that access. Look at our government too. You would invite an artist for 5 million, 10 million because of their numbers. Somebody who graduates with first class, 150,000, 200,000, 500,000. Now, that person is looking and saying, I am knowledgeable. Right? Look at what happened recently. I'm sorry, I'm just citing all of these examples to say, look at what happened recently. Pella said he wanted to hire a master's degree. You need to see the level of people taking their CV to him.
A guy that did not have...
And he's saying, I want a PA, and he offered them 500 naira, 500,000 naira, per month salary. Some organizations don't even pay a master degree that amount. And yet, they call these guys, they invest in them, they pay them a lot of money. In fact, Pella would even say, I don't like that their money, I'm rejecting their deal, Jare. Or this person will say, I'm rejecting their deal, I don't like their money is too small for me. That's the kind of society that we are. So it takes a youth that is focused, that understand his or her identity, because these things have also caused identity crisis. Now, people are beginning to question their identity. I went to school, I graduated with the first class, I'm this and that, but look at these guys, they're successful. And success to this generation is, what we call success to this generation is much more evident. People only attribute success to what they can see. Right? It's much more, everybody wants that soft life. You want to drive a Lamborghini, you want to drive a this, you want to drive a that. Look at Pella driving this, driving that. I know Pella is coming up a lot because, he's the popular person. Now, he's getting married, they're selling a Shelby for 1 million. People are buying it. They are giving him a vehicle just for streaming alone. More than 20 million naira vehicle. What did he do? Somebody working legitimately 9 to 5 is not getting to buy a car. You have to save up for 4 or 5 years to save up your own hard-earned money. So these are the issues. So I feel like it takes a youth that understands his or her identity to be able to say that I wouldn't follow these people. But yes, how can I make do with the resources that these people are using to moderately, be a generational blessing out of it? So as parents now, we need to also teach I'm not a parent, apologies, but then I feel like parents need to teach, right, Gen Zs now, right, including me, because I like to associate myself with Gen Z, to be able to use the resources rather at their avail to make generational, or to create a generational blessing out of it, such that it glorifies them, it glorifies Christ as well. An identity crisis is also very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the issue of identity crisis. Now, before we come back into that, because now we want to look at the role of the church, because you discover that this does not leave the church out. The church is also finding it hard to communicate with this, generation. Just like I love something you said, the definition of success to this generation is more outward, more physical. You look at our fathers or our parents in the faith. To them, what they call success is not what we call success. As long as they are right with God and God is able to meet with their daily needs and, they are enjoying a rich fellowship with heaven, to them, they are fine. But we are in a generation that, I grew up in a Christian home. Mommy does not have a car of her own. Daddy does not have a this. Daddy does not have a that. I'm seeing somebody online, the dad just bought a Ferrari. Why can't my dad do this? Why can't my mom do this? And yet you're asking me to serve God. Is it not God that is doing that for them? Is it something is wrong with you? When you're, okay, take for instance, you now tell them, Christ is the only way. And they're like, okay, this person does not follow Christ, but I believe God created this person. So why are you saying that I should be so focused on church, because of our definition of success? What we call success. So we'll come into that. I want to see how the church can help this our generation to come back to the right path. That, listen, you can have all of that, and yet before God you are not still successful. This is where the subject of purpose, your God-ordained destiny, and all of this come in. But before we go into that, I would like to ask Sister Yano, because if you look at this generation, the generation of the Gen Z, we discovered that mental health is one critical. When you are talking about this generation, when you are talking about depression, somebody wants to commit suicide. You see a teenager of 17, 18, he's already depressed. And during the time of our fathers, why do you want to be depressed? Of course, if you see someone that is depressed during their time, this one has to be a demonic attack. You understand? But they don't see, they just believe in process. They believe that, I'm working towards achieving something. If I've not gotten it, maybe I have not worked hard enough. I have not done this enough. But then you see someone that the parents are catering for, is not supposed to be thinking of, bothered with responsibilities and all, yet is still depressed. Probably due to pressure, peer pressure, things they are seeing online and all of that. And right under our parents, a lot is happening. A lot of parents don't even know what is happening to their teenagers. Yes, we've had stories of teenagers. I watched an American news some times ago, and how a young teen committed suicide simply because he was going through a lot, but the parents were not there. And the guy was now asking AI. So he just kept receiving counsel till the artificial intelligence suggested suicide. And then the guy killed himself. And yet had parents. But the parents could not even capture all of this. And they were living together. How can parents help curb this situation? A lot of things are happening to our youth. A lot of things are happening to our teenagers. Christian youth, Christian teenagers who attend church service week in, week out. They come to church on Sunday. They pray with us. And yet they are depressed. Yet they are feeling incompetent, yet they are feeling like they have failed. A lot of emotions happening with them. So how can parents help curb these situations?
Okay, so I would say that parents can help by not pressuring their children. One, there's this comparison parents does when their children makes mistake. Let's say, for instance, now they will say, is that not your mate that is doing this? Is that not your mate that is doing that? And most of the time, you really don't even know what those people are doing outside, but your children knows what they are doing, and they have to first trust that they are doing a good job in parenting. The parent have to trust that, oh, what I'm teaching my child is right. And as a Christian, I believe that you should have a very, very strong relationship with the Holy Spirit in the way that your child should have received. Okay, let me start like this. Don't bring your children to church. Don't make them a churchy person. Introduce Jesus to them, not the church. That's actually one of the things I noticed. Most people say, why are you going to church? Why are you a Christian? Because my mom,
My mommy,
yes,
my daddy.
because my parents are going to church. Not because they really had this encounter with Christ. So that's why most of the time, when some people are in school, if anything happens, the first thing they will first think of is, I want to call my mommy. They will not first think of, I can pray by myself. They don't have this independence in Jesus that, okay, that, oh, if my parents are not around, I can depend on Christ. They cannot have this independence on their own that, okay, even if I travel, some people will still, in the midnight, they'll still be calling that, oh, well, so they have to first know Jesus first, not the church. They have to know who Jesus is. They have to know what it means that, okay, if I have Christ in my life, what is going to happen to me? If I don't have Christ, what is going to happen to me? That's the first thing. Then, not pressuring their children. I mentioned that before. Don't be comparing. Don't compare. Oh, you, this girl, your friend is giving. I have someone that, oh, I knew someone that our mom is always saying, oh, your friend is giving our mommy money. Is taking care of. And I'm like, does your mom know what your friend is doing? Because anybody can pretend. Anybody can come. I can come to church, put scarf, put everything, and go out the next day. And when I was in school, I remember that there were this set of ladies. Okay, there was this particular guy that was talking to me. Actually asking me out. So I was like, no. Then he now pointed some ladies at me that, oh, see those big girls at that side. They're looking very nice and oh. And he told me that if I give them 500 naira, that they will sleep with him. And in front of me, he gave them and they went inside together. Now, those particular girls will go home and be good children. And let's say there are other people too, because I remember that in school is very, very exposed. When I was in school, I remember that there were adults, men that are older than my dad said, that will come to school and ask people out. One of them even asked me out. Yes, they will tell you that, oh, I can take care of you, I can do this, I can do that. So parents have to be aware. When you are pressuring your children, oh, your friend is doing this, oh, your friend is doing that. Do you know what the friend is doing? So you pressure your child in a way that, oh, he or she wants to become a good child, and at the same time wants to take care of you. You are putting responsibility that is not theirs on them. That's where pressure comes in. The Bible says that we should give our children godly inheritance. The inheritance that you have to give your child, not to pressure your child to give to you. Some people want to eat the fruit of their labor without investing in that thing. That's another aspect again. When you see that your children are doing something, encourage them. Don't start saying, what builds wealth is investment. So when I'm working and you are collecting the money from me, I'm not able to use the money to do anything. So as I'm earning the money, you are collecting it. I'm earning the money, you are collecting it. Then, okay, I've fed you, I've dropped money for food down. Then you want me to be rich. It doesn't happen that way. So parents have to understand these things. They have to support their children too. They have to, and again, I will say that they have to communicate with their child. it is very, very important that they are friends with their children. Build this friendship. Don't just do, hey, come here. I noticed that, okay, when I was in secondary school, some girls will say, I cannot talk to my dad. Though. Anytime he comes into the house like this, everybody we have to be serious. We have to be. I remember that there was this senior I had. She had marks on her body because of the way her dad flogs them. And I'm like, it's not, because I don't have that experience. So it's different. You understand? So I remember when I was in secondary school, I would call my dad and say, daddy, somebody asked me out, what should I say? Now, some people don't have that relationship with their parents. They will ask their friend, so this boy is asking me out, what should I say? Then their friend will tell them, say yes now, say unique, it's going to give you money, it's going to do this. So they have to be, see, it's not all the time that you have to be very, very rigid with your children. When you are rigid, when you are always saying, do this, I'm a very, very hard man. I'm a very, very, you that you are doing hard man. Another person is doing soft guy for your child. I noticed that when guys ask me out and they'll say, oh, I love you, or you are beautiful, I'll tell them, my daddy tells me that all the time. Say another thing. So I'm not always moved by what they say or what they want to give me. Because I have somebody telling me that at home. So my dad is always saying, let me snap you. He's always hyping me. So if another person comes out and say, fine girl, I'll be like, I know I'm fine. What else do you want to say? You're very beautiful. I know. Because somebody is feeding me with that information at home. Now, parents are not doing this to their girl child or even to their boy child. I know that even boys self are very, very exposed to sexual assault because they are boys, and they expect that, or because they are boys, everything goes fine. So parents have to communicate. If your child is a very, very jovial child before, and the child suddenly becomes quiet, then you should know that something is wrong. Ask the child question. Don't always shun the child. Shut up. Don't do this. When you're always shunning the child, when the child has something important to tell you, you will have this fear. Don't let me tell my parents. If I tell my mommy, she's going to beat me. If I tell so they have to have this relationship with that. Very, very important. Have relationship. Support your child when the child is, and make them invest. You are living in a certain way before they started working. Help them. Oh, this money that you are earning now, how much have you saved? In a house like this now, it's always, how much have you saved? How much have you? Sometimes when we always get tired, if it's my money, allow me to spend this money. But it's not like, there is, how much have you saved? Allow them to invest. So when they invest, it will bring forth it will bring wealth. You collecting money from your child is dropping money for soap today, and maybe in 10 years to come, then your child's friend is now bringing a car or a house. Then you now start saying, is that not your friend? Is that not your friend? What did you do to your own child? So allow these children, support them to the very end. Not that you're always eager to, most parents are always eager to want to eat the fruit of their labor. Because of, maybe they go out and one woman is saying, mommy, and then they want to brag that my own son too bought this for me. And that's one thing that is common in Nigeria. Always that they want to expect that their children give back to them. It is good. But I notice that most people that are wealthy, even in Nigeria and abroad, there are people that their parents lived inheritance for. If you really check, they had this wealth. They had this, people that are very, very wealthy, you will see that they had something that they invested in. And if you look at Dangote, his dad or his uncle was a farmer, was doing something that they gave him. He inherited it. He inherited it. Not that he was able to stand on something. He had the foundation. So most people now in our time, you'll see people that will say, I think I was talking to somebody last week and she'll say, the burden is too much. I have parents that I'm feeding, and the parents are not crippled. They are not old. Don't put burdens on your children. Because when the time comes, when they're supposed to take care of you, they will not have that ability because they have done it already in the past. And now they will have to start struggling. That is when they will now start looking at the face of their mates and say, come and give me this, come and give me that, because they've not really invested. So these are the things that can help their children. And in mental states too, communication, that's just it. Communication.